Today I have my beautiful husband Cam and I'm going to pick him apart. Your autism versus my ADHD. You're like organized and routine and rigid and you don't change, whereas I'm like, let's go on holidays tomorrow and do this cool fun thing. You have actually owned gyms before and the last one was absolutely fucking ruined by the old pandemic.
First lockdown, I didn't drink at all. The fifth or the sixth lockdown we went into, that was the one that broke me.
I'm gonna delete Tinder. I've been on it for 3 weeks. It's just a shit show. And I opened it and you were the first one at the top and you'd super liked me. And then I remember adding you and I was like, oh my fucking God, it's you. You sent your number and you were like, give me a call. And I was like, I'm not calling you unless you're a psychopathic morning person who's fresh as a fucking daisy at 5 a.m. And I'm someone who's like, I need a slow paced morning.
I come home from the gym at like 7:15 and you're still in bed. I'll go walk the dogs and come back and you're still in bed.
Excuse me. This podcast is being recorded on Gubby Gubby land. We pay our respects to the traditional custodians of this land, our country and elders past and present. My name is Cait Muir and it's another episode of Tell Me About It podcast. And I'm very excited because today I have my favourite person ever in the whole world interviewing for my podcast. He is I just think you're the coolest person ever and I love you so much and that actually makes people feel sick, I'm sure, but I don't even fucking care. So today I have my beautiful husband Cam. So a few eps ago you guys would have listened into us talking a little bit about our house and it absolutely went off and everybody was asking to hear more from Cam, to see more from Cam and to like learn a little bit about, I guess, who the man is beside me in my life, who is my husband. So I brought him here and I'm going to pick him apart and I'm going to show you who he is, and he's already shitting himself because I think he knows.
You've probably got plenty of people turning off right about now, so we'll see how it goes.
I think so too. No, I don't think so. I don't think so at all. I think that they're going to love you. He's a little bit nervous anyways, but look, I always like to break the ice with a bit of a weird thing, and you don't eat pumpkin.
No.
He's a very fussy eater. The autism is real.
Yeah. Oh, no, I've never really been a great eater. I eat pretty clean now, but yeah, so the story with pumpkin, my lovely sister, she's now a psychologist, but I don't know, I reckon I would have probably been like maybe 4 or 5, like I was young, and had the old school house where you had the dining room, the separate dining room, and we're having dinner in there, like at the nice dinner, like probably the Sunday roast or something, and Mum and Dad left the table and my sister said to me, like, don't eat the pumpkin. And I was like, well, why not? She's like, Joseph ate the pumpkin and he died. And I was like, who's Joseph? She's like, he was your older brother. And I was like, and then I was like, I was hysterical.
For clarification, there is no Joseph.
No, there is no Joseph. And then
Cait was just being a bitch.
Yeah, she was being a bitch. And then Mum and Dad came back into the room and I'm there going, I'm not eating the pumpkin, and, you know, crying. And they're like, why won't you eat the pumpkin? I said, you know, because Joseph died. He ate the pumpkin. You know, Joseph was my brother. And Mum and Dad are like, you didn't have a brother. And Emma Cait's like, that's because he ate the pumpkin. And she's like, making it worse. And
I love that you doubled down.
Yeah.
There was no like backing down or being like, no, they're right, it was a joke. It's like,
she thought it was the funniest thing. I'm crying my eyes out. The old school, like, you know, family upbringing, like if you didn't eat all your veggies, you didn't get dessert, or, you know, you had to finish.
And if you cut dessert out, that you were an angry man.
At the same time, you couldn't leave the table until your plate was clear either. So Mum and Dad made me eat this pumpkin and I'm gagging on the pumpkin as I'm trying to wash it down, as I got tears coming out of my eyes. I'm throwing the pumpkin up, and like ever since that day, I taste pumpkin now and it just makes me instantly gag, like I'm going to be
You
sick.
don't even taste pumpkin. You can look at a pumpkin across the supermarket and you gag.
Oh, I did get it back, but I reckon it was like, so that was her traumatizing thing she did to me. But then, and she'll always laugh at that.
Siblings are such
But then
assholes. I
got her back real good one day. It was like, I think I might have been like year 9 and she was year 12 or something like that. And like Mum and Cait were like having a little bit of an argument. We were in town and Mum had taken us to a cafe. She was getting a coffee. Mum had made me a milkshake. And I'd been like annoying as all hell. And I'd been sitting there on the straw just sucking it like, it was nothing left.
Being annoying
like
noises.
just, you know, and you know that noise it makes, there's nothing there at all. And like Cait was just like, aren't you gonna like tell him to stop that? Like to Mum, because like,
you were annoying her.
Cait was trying to be like,
you were annoying her.
Yeah. So I just got the straw thinking there was nothing in there at all and blew it at her. And like bits of strawberry milk went all over her face and all over her. And Mum wet herself laughing, like instead of like, Mum just couldn't help it. And like, instead of dressing me down, she laughed and Cait just stood up, stormed out and left. And that's like, that's why the strawberry milk is her pumpkin to me. But yeah.
It's so...
and we love each other now. We get along great.
Oh,
but
she's the best.
She's a psychologist now and doesn't, like, it makes sense after the whole traumatizing me with Joseph. She knew exactly what she was doing. But she's got 3 boys that obviously...
We love so much.
Oh, we love, but they obviously give it to her like karma's a bitch.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Especially when they're all as neurodivergent as me and you put together.
And then I think there's another story one day, like, she was driving to school, so she was 18, but we had an argument in the car on the way to school, and she kicked me out of the car.
She was driving you to school?
She was driving me to school. She kicked me out of the car, and it was quicker for me to walk home and get Mum to drive me to school, but I didn't want Mum to know that she kicked me out of the car because I was being a shit. And then, so I got to school late, but
Did the school call Mum?
Mum worked at the school, so then when Mum arrived at school, they were like, "Oh, Cameron was late to school this morning," and then Cait.
That's a fair old hike too.
Yeah. So it was easy for me, as I said, to just. I didn't want to walk home.
With the shame.
Yeah, and then she'd also gone out during the day, and then she felt bad, so she'd gone out and bought me like this cool hoodie. Like to say sorry, and then
driving you back into the
world. And then Mum found out anyway, and it was funny. But anyway,
sibling rivalry, sibling love. I mean, aside from the pumpkin, you actually don't eat a lot of veggies. Maybe a bit of sweet potato.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I love my veggies. Eat a lot of rice. I just said sweet potato.
Mostly carnivore.
Apart from that, I like
and donuts.
Still a fair bit of, as I said, like mainly rice or sweet potato. I have my macros, that I take. But like I don't eat a lot of veggies. I guess, I don't know, back in the day, there's only so much like chicken, rice and broccoli you can eat before you just can't eat broccoli anymore, and you need chicken with a bit of flavour.
Yeah.
I'm pretty bad. I like salads, but I just can't be bothered making them all the time.
I mean, part of your autism is sensitivity to certain foods and textures of things. You just fucking hate it.
Yeah, I know I'm pretty. I don't love avocado. Like avocado's so bad. Like I just can't do the texture. I don't mind it a little bit of guacamole, but you know, with corn chips. I know, but you'll never see me just have avocado.
Don't eat tomatoes. Do eat tomato sauce.
Yeah, but is tomato sauce really tomato sauce? But anyway. So I don't.
I was going to say you don't really eat tomato sauce, but you go through a few bottles of salt-reduced barbecue sauce every week.
Yeah, it's salt-reduced, but so it's okay. 25% salt and sugar reduced, so it's healthier for me than, you know. And like someone sent me, you know, you sort of said before donuts. Yes, I love donuts.
Donuts is the vice. Every Sunday buy yourself some donuts.
Donuts is my vice. Normally that's my Sunday treat to have a donut, but I did see someone sent me a meme once, and it was like donut fact like 101, and it's like a donut is healthier than crystal meth. So I'm like, well, there's worse options I could be having.
Tick.
Like, exactly.
Not taking drugs.
there's worse things I could be having and putting in my body than a donut. So it's okay. That's how I justify it to myself.
I love that though. I love that, like, you obviously work so hard and it's good that you can treat yourself with a few things anyway. But I guess like expanding on that, you're a very weird person. And that's the thing that I love about you. But I also think like your autism versus my ADHD is like one of the biggest reasons that we work so well is because you're like organized and routine and rigid and you don't change, whereas I'm like, let's go on holidays tomorrow and do this cool fun thing.
You know me, like, I'm pretty structured in my day-to-day.
In everything.
Routine.
And if the routine changes, it's in a moment.
Yeah, and if that changes, it sends me. Like, if my have a plan, if it, my day plan, if something changes in that, you have to give me time to adjust. I'll come around, but you can't expect to tell me and me just to be, oh yeah, cool, no dramas. I'm like, I go into panic stations like, oh my God, how am I now going to do all these other things that I had planned to do? I need time to like replan it.
That was something we bickered on very early on in the relationship because we just didn't understand each other. I'd be like, oh, let's go to dinner early. And you're like, no. And you're like, no, I can't. And then I'd have to stand there and visually watch you like recalibrate your calendar in your head, and then you're like, wouldn't talk to me for 20 minutes while that all the cords plugged back into the walls.
Yeah.
And it's so funny.
No, that's sort of always been me in terms of if my plans change, like I just need that 15-20 minutes to let me recalibrate things. I'm generally all right, or I'd calm down. I'm like, you know what, it's not the end of the world, it's going to be okay. But
I'm the opposite.
That brief second, and you're like,
let's go to the beach now, and you're like, no, I need to go home and get a fresh pair of jocks and change of shorts. I can't go to the beach right now. I'm like, but we're right here at the beach. It's like a 20-minute round trip. Like,
and it's like, all right, we just got back from overseas, and I'm the type of person that, all right, we walked in the door, and like, not straight away because we both pretty tired. We jumped into bed and had a little
within hours. It's
chill.
Straight away.
But like, what was it? We'd been home for a little while, and then that day I was like, all right, well, I need to do washing for tomorrow. I need to unpack my suitcase. There's stuff in there I need for the week ahead.
Psychopath killer behaviour.
Sort of unpacked my suitcase, put everything away, did all my washing, and
we've been home for 4 days.
Suitcase is still standing upright, not touched. So that's just like the difference between us.
For clarification on that, I have a travel toothbrush and everything else, and I have a normal one. So it's not like I'm not brushing my teeth or washing my body or anything of the sort. It just is too much for my brain to handle right now, and I don't need to deal with it, and it's not hurting anyone, and it's just chilling.
Exactly, not hurting anyone. And it'll get to that point where you don't have any clothes or everything's. You're like, I need undies. Where are they? Like, they're in the suitcase, but those ones are dirty too because they need to be washed.
Could you just unpack mine too? Anyway, I think I love our relationship, and I think it's the best, and I love how much time we make for each other, and I love our quality time together, and I just think...
Yeah, you definitely, like, I'm more fun when I'm around you. Like, you know that. Like,
you're boring as fuck otherwise.
I'm boring as fuck. I'm the life of the party once I've had a few to drink. But normally I'm, as you said, I'm pretty reserved, and I'll be that type of person that you put me around a table of people and I'll just listen to what everyone else has to say instead of like...
Not when you have a little bit of the silly juice though.
That's what I mean. I'll get more chatty then.
You're actually a very funny person, and I don't think you realise that. And you're one of those people that's like, you're good at the table. You'll literally like be sitting there in silence, and then you'll just whip in this one-liner, and it's like, oh my God, where did that come from?
That's
and it's so funny.
Yeah, but that's kind of me. It's like, what is it? I just don't talk that much around like big groups of people and things like that. I'll listen, and then I'll contribute when I've got something, good to say or something like that. But I can't remember how we got onto this topic now.
Oh, just saying that I love our relationship.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. You definitely make me more fun.
Yes.
that sort of stuff. You often sometimes call me the fun police.
Yeah,
when
because
I'm
you often are.
knock back some of your ideas. And so I've sort of learnt to
I'm a bird, let me fly.
Yeah, you're a peacock. You got to let you fly, damn it. So I've learned to just go with it more instead of pushing back, and it ends up being fun anyway. And I'm like for example, when we went to Singapore, and you were like, before we went, you were like, I really want to go to this art show, and I was like, oh, cool, like I'll go with you because we're in Singapore and that sort of stuff. But then I went and I had a blast.
You
like
loved it.
I had heaps of fun. Like, who would have thought I would have enjoyed looking at art? I'm so cultured these days.
Yeah,
so,
it's that'll pick a fight. Like, I'll throw down.
Yeah. I didn't really have much of a choice. I was always going, but it's whether how much fun I was going to have when I went.
Yeah, that's so funny. No, I think it's like, I don't know. I think that, like, honestly, the only difficult time we've really had, I think, in our relationship, and, relationships aren't linear, they're always changing and always moving, but I think the hardest time for us was we had done long distance for like 8 months, I think, at this stage, and then you were absolutely cooked from work, which we'll go into later, and then I had lived alone for 5-6 years, and then I all of a sudden have you in my space all the fucking time, and it was just like, I was fighting with you, you were arguing with me, then we had a miscarriage, and I think that knocked everything for a 6, and it was just a very weird time.
Yeah, we were
just adjusting.
I guess we were still adjusting to how, because we'd done the long distance, we hadn't actually really lived together or anything. It always just
it was
sort of
like
been
5 days a fortnight together. Yeah,
that sort of thing. So that was kind of an adjustment of me being in your grill 24/7, especially in the small apartment, and
your 400 pairs of jocks that you wear a week.
It was different for you, I guess, because I'd come to your space, and you're like, well, that was your space.
Yeah.
And the apartment, great apartment, but obviously not as big as where we are now, but there wasn't really anywhere for you to go to have your own, like your own space or your own time.
No. And I like, it's, as much as I'm a social person, I guess I love my solitude as well, and I know you do as well.
Like there'll be days where you're just like, I just want to lay in bed all day long. It's like, cool. And then you let me be my little nerd burger and play PlayStation all day. And I'm like, it's cool with that.
I think good, strong marriages and strong relationships are built on like getting through those hardships and getting through those hard times. And we just went through that weird phase where it was like, my body was giving me hell for 5 months after losing that baby, and you were starting a new job and doing the things and selling a business that had kind of crumbled, and all these things were happening, and it was just like we both were just not even angry with each other, but we were just each other's punching bag for a while. But I honestly feel like, I don't know what happened. It was like the day we got married, because this was right before we got married, it was like everything was better.
Yeah.
Everything. It's just like everything turned around. And I think we also sat together and went, well, this is fucked. Like, why am I fighting with this person that I love? And like, why am I bickering with someone who makes me so happy? And so we sat down and talked about like what our goals were and what we wanted in a couple and what our values were. And it was like everything changed in that moment, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now you just learned to put up with my bullshit. Yeah. I've learned to put up with yours.
Exactly.
Well, I guess with that too, like you have actually owned some gyms before, and the last one, while it was doing really good, was kind of absolutely fucking ruined by the old pandemic. Yeah,
good old COVID. So yeah, like had a CrossFit gym down in Victoria. Had a business partner throughout it, and well, it started out by myself, but then we merged. They were two friends, and we merged, and then one of them, sort of as we were merging, he was leaving, and that's one of the reasons why the two gyms merged. But yeah, we had a good little thing going. And it was CrossFit, strength and conditioning. Yeah. We ran a few different little things. We had a number of coaches, and you sort of know my business partner at the time. He also worked as a firefighter, so he did spend time on the business, but he was more working like on the business, not in the business. Whereas I was more in the business and doing the daily operating, looking after all the staff and stuff like that. And we're sort of getting to that point. You sort of understand this, where we sort of had a business coach ourselves, and get to that point where, all right,
things are good.
starting to look at, all right, what's your dream day look like, Cam? What do you want to do each day? Because was where we were sort of getting towards with me being able to step off the floor altogether, and then
not having to be there 60 hours a week anymore.
And then that horrible COVID thing happened, and that just changed everything. Then all of a sudden we had to, pivot entirely to training online. We were all locked down in our house and all that.
Victoria was hit the hardest.
Yeah, I don't think anyone that wasn't in either Victoria or Sydney really understands
how bad it fucking was.
What we all went through.
Yeah. I think especially the service things and like the type of gym you had too, which was everyone's on a weekly membership. It's class run predominantly. So it's like you're having these massive groups of people.
So we just sort of said to all of our members at the time, we're like, look, we can't offer you the service that we were. We said to anyone that can afford to pay a membership or anything at all, come take whatever equipment you want, sort of thing, and we'll create workouts for you to do at home with that equipment.
That was the thing, wasn't it? Everyone had to pivot. And that's a good pivot to be like, I'll train you as much as I can, take what you want.
We were writing programs for people to do at home with different equipment and stuff like that. And then
that's a great way of pivoting, actually. I've never heard of anyone doing that.
Literally, the amount of, we spoke to the landlords. Look, they were good landlords, but they were at the same time
they're a
business and that stuff. So they gave us a rent reduction, but we had to pay that back.
So mine was amortised as well.
So what rent relief we got at the time, which was good, we then had to pay all that back once COVID was over. And literally, what the members were paying was literally enough to keep the doors open, keep the door open. I was my business partner, he was in a good situation where he was able to. He had another job, and that was an essential service. So he was working. I was in a lucky position where I was able to go and move back in with mum and dad and not have to pay rent or anything like that.
Still really hard in your 30s to move back home with your parents. And
we were able to get then like JobKeeper for like 2 of the staff.
Yeah.
Then we were able to get one to share, but that sort of stuff between because it was the business was in a company, so it was all weird. But we kept the doors open, that sort of stuff. And then when we coming out of COVID after sort of 18 to 24 months of on stop start this and that, we actually had an offer to buy. Someone wanted to buy the gym, and going back hindsight, should have taken that. But at the time,
you believed in it.
Well, not so much. At the time, I felt I owed it to the members who had paid their membership during that time to
stick it out a little bit.
To stick it out and give them the gym that they sort of had. Otherwise, I felt like, well, I've just taken your money and now we're leaving with someone else. Yeah. So I felt like I owed it to them. I
don't think anyone really appreciates how hard it was back then. Like you were literally closed. Then you had a period where you had to take all the heavy fucking equipment and tires and weights and everything outside, and you're in a fucking industrial shed.
And then even outside, you only have 10 people at a time.
It was insane. And you were like next to a park in an industrial area where like nothing was going on. It was just fucking bizarre.
So I remember at one stage, I reckon it was first lockdown I didn't drink at all because I'm pretty much a social drinker, so I don't drink by myself. I'm just a social drinker. I didn't, for me, just not drink in the lockdowns was easy because I was like, well, this is cool. And then it wasn't until like probably about, sounds funny.
The 17th one?
No, it was about the 5th or the 6th lockdown we went into, and that was the one that broke me. And I just remember going to...
I think that was the one that sent me to the September one or something.
Yeah, it was like
fuck this.
Late one, but I ended up going down to my parents' holiday house in St Leonard's, and I was like, pretty much there was a bottle of wine there to drink. Yep. And I was just like, it was like red wine. I was like, I just need something to drink.
Yeah.
And like, I remember drinking that, and that was sort of like the one that like, broke me. And then even before that, like I remember actually being on the phone with Centrelink trying to organise like the payments and all that sort of stuff. It's like, I know they were dealing with a lot, but it's like, they just made you feel like shit.
You're like, I've worked my whole life, paid taxes, contributed.
But they made me feel like I was trying to rule the system.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for like my brother-in-law Clinton that was able to help me, I worked for Centrelink at the time and was able to help me out with, you know, putting me in touch with the right people that could help me and that sort of stuff. And then like I guess eventually after like when COVID all finished and that sort of stuff, I'd sort of tried going with the, you know, put my ass in it, trying to get the gym back to where it was, but I couldn't afford to pay my staff to do all the classes that they were doing before. Luckily, like obviously the rent reduction we had all then gone.
And then you pay like 1.5 rent to pay it back.
So, you know, the rent had increased dramatically.
Yeah.
We then got a tax bill, because we had to pass all of the JobKeeper onto the employee. We got taxed on.
Yep, I remember.
Because it was like seen as income.
Yep.
So the government, we couldn't hold any of that.
No.
We had to give it all to the employee, but then we had to pay tax on it. So, you know.
It was insane. It was fucked.
We then had this bill to the ATO for income tax from that, which we didn't know we had to do it. Like we had to do that until all of a sudden that we had this big debt, like this big bill that we owed.
Yeah.
So I had to go on a payment plan for that. And then, you know, so I was working, you know, 60, 70 hours in the gym I said to the staff, I said, look guys, I got to do everything. I can't afford to, you know, literally pay you. And
I lost staff to construction. I had staff leave to go to other jobs. Yeah. I spent $80,000 of my savings went.
Well, I mean,
it was cooked.
Luckily,
it was a cooked time to exist.
Luckily, I only had like one staff that was like
full-time-ish or whatever.
Full-time.
You were the main job.
Full-time. One of the other staff was sort of part-time, but she was doing nursing at the time, and she was like,
that was obviously essential.
Got, like, placements and all that sort of stuff to do. And all the other staff that we had, they had other jobs, and most of them were teachers or worked as, you know, in the nurses and in the health. So they were essential workers. So they were all working. They sort of said, look, Cam, don't stress. Like, we actually enjoy coaching. Let us coach for free for a while. So, you know, that was really good. They all sort of, you know, did that for me. They all sort of pitched in, would do 1 or 2 classes a week for free for me, just to lighten the load a little bit. But it was still
it was a weird time.
Yeah, it was a weird time. And you know what it was like doing all those hours, and then it just got to that point where when we reconnected and you were like, you know, not really interested in pursuing anything if you're not interested in moving up here, I was like, you know what? I've been like wondering what life would be like if I left Geelong.
Yeah.
And I'd been thinking about it for a while, and this was just the sign to be like, you know what, like I'm keen, let's do it. And then, you know, we sort of took that 6 months to, you sort of said to me.
Hang on. Let's backpedal there a second, because I'd come down for a friend's birthday, and I remember I was sitting with an older family member, and they were like, show me Tinder, show me how it works. I was like, oh my God, I fucking hate this app. I've been on it for 3 weeks. It's just a shit show. And I was flinging through it, and they were like, this is the most like judgmental thing I've ever seen. Like, what the hell? And then I just closed it. And I remember getting home to the Sunshine Coast, and I was sitting on the tarmac, and I was like, there was like a Sunshine Coast airport's really tiny, and there was like this like line of planes, and they were like, okay, cool. So like, you might be sitting on the tarmac for a while, don't worry. And I was like, oh, open my phone. I was like, oh, you know what? I'm going to delete Tinder. And I opened it, and you were the first one at the top, and you'd super liked me. And then I remember adding you, and I was like, oh my fucking God, it's you. And you were like, I thought it was you. And you sent your number, and you were like, give me a call. And I was like, I'm not calling you unless you're willing to move to Queensland, because I'm absolutely never moving back to Victoria. And you're like, fuck yeah, I'm out the door. And then I rang you, and I still had your number saved.
Yeah, and then when I sort of said, yeah, I'm out the door, and we sort of said, all right, well, we need to put a time frame on it.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not doing long distance for a year.
Yeah, so we sort of said, all right, give me 6 months, and then we spent that next 6 months obviously traveling backwards and forwards, but that's when
Well, it was both of us. So for the first, I think it was like we alternated fortnights where like I'd come down to you and then you would come to me, and it was like good to go back and forward.
Yeah, but that's when we sort of spent that 6 months sort of winding up the business or setting it up for me to not be there and eventually end up selling it.
My experience of that was like, we met lots earlier. We met actually very young. We were at a wedding of one of my staff at the time, and we dated for about 5 minutes, and then you rudely dumped me. No, I think we're at very different stages of life. I remember I owned my salon. You were kind of building yourself up as a CrossFit trainer and everything, I think. And you're quite established.
Well, I was like fully competing and all that sort of stuff then. And you were out partying all the time, and it was just like, well, we're
just wrong.
Yeah.
It was just right person, wrong timing. But I think this time when we reconnected, you're just a shell compared to what you are now. Like, you've done a complete 180 in the last 4 or 5 years, whatever it's been. And you were just like, you were working mornings from like 5 till 10, then you were cleaning the gym, then you were having a daytime nap, then you were going back to work at like 3 to work through till 7 o'clock at night. And then you're like trying to eat, trying to go home, and then you don't sleep very much because you're obviously up really early again. And that was rinse and repeat every day for just months to try and keep that gym glued together. And so you were just a shell, and naturally you would be, because you've had to not lay off staff, but like, you know, the casuals and stuff, you just couldn't keep them on, and that's fair. That's the first thing to go. And then it was just like, you're like, well, I need to do this. No one else is going to do it for me. And then it was like, get out.
Yeah, no, so I was super happy to, I just needed to get out of Geelong too, like, you know what I mean? Like,
I know
you know what I mean. But and then you come up here and it's just, I think it was just an amazing part of the world to live.
Yeah, I mean, I know that there was a fear there too. Like, I think you moved up here just after your 40th birthday, and you're like, oh my God, I don't know if I'm going to meet anyone, or I don't know if I'm going to do anything. And then you walked into a job with all these fucking awesome people who are still your great friends now, and they're like great friends of ours, and same life stage as us, and same age as us, and just fucking sick cunts, really.
The boys I work with at Fit College are fucking top notch.
Yeah.
But then
and the girls.
Yeah, and the girls, and then, you know, met a good mate at the gym, Neil. So me and him.
Yeah.
Kick it off.
I think that there's like it's never too late to like change your environment, and I think that environment wasn't serving you in so many ways. I mean, I look back on this and I'm like, all of our exes live there, like, bye.
I mean, it's one of those things too. It's like, I've got like, you know, a handful of mates back home that I can genuinely say are still like my good mates and stuff. And some of them I don't really talk to, but like I still know, like, you know, like Perko, Carey, James, there's a few of those boys that if we sat down and talked, we haven't spoken in a couple of years, it's like no time's gone by. And then I've got like B.A. Broski Nick, and like we'll message each other daily and that sort of stuff.
I think it's also like adult relationships are that though, isn't it? It's like, first of all, we live 2 states away. It's not exactly easy to see this. It's like, you know, I've got like Hannah and Lexi and Anna and like all the girls down there as well, and the boys like Lindsay and everything else. And it's just like adult relationships are fitting in around each other's lives and picking up where you left off and like not treating that differently. And it's like, and all of our friends have like kids and they're married and they're living their lives and they're doing the things that if that means you don't speak for a while, it doesn't hinder the friendship, you know?
No, exactly. And like, you know, I had a lot of people at the time too that, you know, even COVID taught me a bit too, like that you thought were like your friends, but then you realize that actually you're my acquaintance. Like you know, we have a relationship where, you know, I probably thought we were more friends or whatnot than what we were, but turns out it was really just, you know,
superficial.
Yeah, like, you know, I own the gym, so they were friends with me because I own the gym, but it was like they were getting something from me. Yeah. And, you know, all of a sudden when I couldn't provide you know, what they needed or wanted, it was like everyone
sort of says, oh, you know, we need to invest more time in mental health and do all these other things. And I had a friend who was in a very bad state through that time, and I gave a lot to her. And I remember coming towards the end of 2020, I have my polycystic ovarian syndrome was the worst it's ever been. My endometriosis is spread into my bladder, my bowel, my urethra, and I had to have major surgery. My fucking dog died. My barbershop's been shut for 7 months. My coaching business has been quartered. I just turned 30 before I moved, so I must be like 29 to 30-year-old woman living alone, no second income. That's it. And I remember reaching out to some of my friends who I thought were my really good friends. And I was like, guys, I'm really struggling. You all live with housemates and partners and stuff. I don't know what to do. Can I come give some of you a hug? Can I come and whatever? And there was a few of them that were just like, I don't know what to say to you. Like, everyone has a different experience. We're all suffering. And I'm like, I'm just telling you that I'm not okay. Like, I'm really, really not okay. Yeah. And then it was like all the beautiful ones like shone through and they were there too. So it was it was such a weird time to exist and a weird time to live through, to learn like who cared about you and who didn't, and who you could give to and who you couldn't. And it fucked everything, but it highlighted a lot of things too.
It did.
Look, on the whole like fitness journey, you were never always the fit, healthy Viking type. You were, in your own words, a fat kid for a long time.
Yeah, but
you were always sporty.
No, but even being a fat kid, that was like all self-inflicted. So even at school, I was a school jock. Like I was just, I grew up swimming.
Yeah, I was a swimmer.
I hated swimming, but
so did I.
My sister wanted to do it, and my sister wanted to do it because her friends were doing it. I just happened to kind of be good at it, but I didn't like it.
I need to stop this right here.
Mum and Dad too were sort of like, Mum and Dad were like, well, if we're taking her to the pool in the morning, you can go too.
Okay, so, I'm going to stop this here first of all, because you don't like me talking about you like this. You are good at every sport. You're one of those annoying fucking cunts that is good at every fucking sport except yoga. I've learned in recently. Cam is one of those people. Picks up basketball, can play, picks up footy, can play, plays rugby, plays everything, can just do everything really well, and it is so fucking annoying. And recently, your mum and dad basically like shipped a heap of shit up to it. 174 trophies, 174 sporting trophies and sporting medals.
We're going through almost like under 10 100-meter freestyle champion, and there's like a trophy for it. It's like, cool, I don't want this anymore. Like, I was 10 years old.
Yeah, but you sit there and you talk about that. You don't like talking about yourself at all.
Not at all.
He's like an incredible sports person. I was in the newspaper playing for the Geelong Rams. What else?
I kept the important stuff that were important to me, like a couple of my basketball ones and like my rugby stuff. But apart from that, I was like, all right,
stop being modest.
They can all go.
I'm going to make you really fucking uncomfortable because, so you were swimming, which you hated, which I also hated, but was also really good at. Then what else? Speedball?
Played basketball.
And went travelling around America playing basketball?
Yeah, we did it like, yeah.
Yeah, keep going. Get that out. It's so uncomfortable.
I played rugby. And then...
You played basketball in America. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I was playing basketball for I think it's like the under 18 Geelong side at the time. And then... they were organising like a team to, go over to America and travel around. So it was basically all the boys I sort of played with the Geelong side and that sort of stuff. And we, went over to America. We travelled around Indiana and Kentucky. It was pretty cool because we'd go and we'd stay and we'd actually go to one of the local high schools and we'd get billeted out. So we'd end up staying with one of the family members of the opposing team and we'd kind of live with them. We'd go to school with them for a couple of days because it was our holidays. It was our summer.
Oh, cool.
This was between year 11 and 12.
Yeah.
So it was our summer, but they were in school still.
Yeah.
So,
because their summer's different. Yeah,
so it was their winter. So they were also in school and stuff like that. And then, and it was real cool. So I traveled around in Kentucky and Indiana.
That'd be cool to see that side of America too, because everyone just goes to LA, New York and calls it a day.
Met some beautiful people, and there's still some people that say that still message and stuff like that that we met over there and stayed with and stuff. And then that was cool. And
played for the Geelong Rams.
Then started playing rugby. Got to the point for me, basketball, I'd been playing for so long. I still love basketball, but
You're obsessed with the NBA.
Yeah, I love the NBA, but it got to that point where it just became like a chore to go and play, and I just lost the fun.
Yeah.
And then I wanted to sort of get into like more of a contact sport, but never played AFL footy, so I couldn't kick a footy straight to save myself.
Yeah.
So I was like,
lucky you could run.
I wanted to be able to tackle something. So so I was like, all right, well,
just let out some rugby.
Let's go play rugby.
And you were very good at rugby.
Yeah. Well,
you were in the newspaper for rugby.
Turns out I could run. I was fast. So it was like my first season, and I had this interception play, and we were playing one of the Melbourne sides, and the Melbourne coach was then the coach of like this representative side, and you know, he then wanted me to go to the rep side purely because of my speed. So I learnt a fair bit playing that, and then
you are one of those sick people though. Like Cam will go for a 5K run just for fun. He's sick.
It's not that much fun anymore, but it used to be. But yeah, so played rugby for a few years, and then I found CrossFit.
I feel like we've glossed over a little bit too though, because I've seen some photos of you with your 2000s boy band haircut and with the moon face, looking quite different to what you do now, because I think everybody sees, a bit of a fashion icon, very cool looking dude with your dinosaur hair, and, you know, you're obviously super fit, like you still train twice a day, every day. Like that wasn't always true of you. Yeah,
like I said, like it was always like where we started with this, it was always sort of like the school jock. Grew up swimming, and then I was playing basketball while I was at school, so I was doing both of those sort of. So I was always active at school.
Always active,
and then I was the type of kid too that would be running around, you know, as I said before, I couldn't kick a footy, but I'd still play marks up at school. Like, you know, we'd be playing cricket.
You just get amongst it.
We'd be playing basketball. So every lunchtime running around, burning off steam for an hour, be playing sport after school, all that sort of stuff. And then when I finished school, went to uni, and obviously you're 18, you can drink more. And then it's like it wasn't all of a sudden, but I guess it was over probably like a 2, 3, 4 year period.
I just started to like, and I think it's so subtle that you don't really notice it until you're like, whoa.
I just started to put on weight, and then, you know, Mum would sometimes mention something to me, and I'd get all defensive, and you know, what are you talking about? Like, you know, get angry.
Typical boomer parents.
Yeah, and then it was more me, you know, reacting to what she was trying to say, and then, you know, even like my basketball coach at the time had said some stuff too, but I was just at uni loving life.
Living, partying, doing all the things.
Partying too much, drinking too much. And then, you know, I was still playing basketball 2-3 times a week, training 2-3 times a week. So I thought, you know, I was still fairly active and healthy.
Yeah.
But as we said, my nutrition's never been great. So at the time, not knowing what I know now about nutrition, like, you know, I would be working and going and getting Subway for lunch thinking that was healthy for me.
Yeah.
But getting the meatballs.
Oh my God.
And now I find out now it's like, you know.
The worst thing ever.
It's worse for you than a Big Mac and stuff.
I would go from nightclub to work, sometimes just have a quick rinse shower, add an extra layer of makeup, and then I'd have a fucking Barocca in the morning, and then I'd have a V, some chips maybe, and maybe Macca's, and that was and about 25 darts and black coffees.
I remember when obviously you worked on High Street, but I remember on High Street it used to be.
I worked in Muir Street through that stage, and then in High Street as well.
But that's what I'm saying. I know you worked in High Street, so you remember where Paul's warehouse was. So
yes, you worked there.
I worked there.
Opposite side of the road.
Me and one of my mates, Macca, like I don't know how we ended up basically managing the place. Who would have put us in charge? Because he was assistant manager and I was like the 3 IC, but the store manager was useless, and me and Macca used to run the show. And on the weekends we'd go out like Friday night and Saturday night, knowing that it was me and him working together, and then we'd just sleep downstairs. We'd just set up like stuff, sleep, and just every now and then we'd go check on the other staff what they're doing, and like it was like it was bad, but I saw
this meme the other day that it's like, young people will never experience what we experienced, which was literally, we went out for girls. It was like freaking platforms, stiletto heels and corporate casual outfits. But we went from work to prees, to partying, to leaving Club Foreplay or Room 99 at 7 a.m., 7:30 a.m. They're like, all right, lights on, everyone out. And then you just go home, shower, go back to work again. And you just suffer through the day. I remember literally doing hair clients. I'd be doing a haircut, I'd be like, I'll be back in just 1 second, spew up in the bath and keep going.
You could operate off like 2-3 hours sleep,
My
4 hours
bosses
sleep.
loved it. They thought it was hilarious.
Yeah.
They're like, get it together, have a mint, off you go.
Not these days. But
We lived.
yeah, so I got big, and then I didn't really realize it. And then one day, nothing serious. I was in a relationship with a girl. It wasn't very long, like 2-3 months. We broke up, and then me and my mate.
How dare you date other people before me?
Me and my mate Perko. We ended up literally went on about not a month long bender, but a month of like literally doing Thursday, Friday, Saturday nights, like.
Dirty Thursdays were the best.
We'd do all,
and Traffic Light Friday.
And we're going out, party on time. And then I remember waking up one day, just looking at myself in the mirror. I think I'd jumped on the scales, and it was the first time for me that I'd jumped on and I was 3 figures. Like I was 100 kilos, and I was like, oh. And then I just looked.
And you're a big unit now, so nowhere near that.
No, I'm only like 85 now. And then
like you're fit now, and it's hard to imagine.
And I looked at myself and was just like, I have a problem. I got a problem. Like no one's going to want you the way you look now. And that was my sort of.
How crazy.
That was my light bulb moment.
It smacked you in the face.
To make me change what I was doing on my lifestyle, and got me back on the bandwagon of, I just started.
Well, you said to me when you've spoken about this, you're like, actually how I lost weight was quite unhealthy at the start.
Yeah, definitely not healthy. Like I didn't know anything back then. So this is way before I was
in your early 20s.
Qualified personal trainer or anything like that. But I was like, all right, I just got to start moving. So I thought, all right, eat as little food as possible. So, I was eating real super low calorie food. Started out just walking. I was working in a sports store, so I had a punching bag. So I was, hitting that. I think this was during an off season of basketball, so there wasn't any basketball on at the time. Yeah. And then the walks became longer walks. It slightly became a little bit of a run, and that sort of stuff. And then I was doing something every day. Because I wasn't eating a lot and burning so many calories, I was moody. So mum would, I was snappy at people. Yeah. And I remember just snapping at mum one day, and I was like, why? I'm sorry. I was like, oh my God, I'm so, I don't know why I was like that. Now, I know what I know. I know why.
How your body processes and everything.
How your hormones and all that sort of stuff. But I didn't know why I was like that. But anyway, the weight.
I feel like every 90s kid in some respect has had some sort of eating disorder. I know that I had anorexia for a few years. I know that you just said you just ate really weird and trained too much and didn't know enough. But I feel like every 90s, 80s kid has had some sort of unhealthy something, because we just didn't know. So I was just training hard, and I was like, I want to lose the weight. Yep. Before I started doing weight training again. So such a weird mentality now,
isn't it? But then as you was watching the weight fall off the scales, it kept driving me to go further and further. So
when you're seeing that physical change,
I got down to 72 kilos in
that's small.
In 11 weeks. You know what I mean?
So you went from 100, what's that, 28 kilos?
Yeah, in 11 weeks. And that's what I mean. I then went back to basketball.
Fuck.
Went back to basketball.
And they were like, where's Cait?
No, well, there were people in because played for many years and that stuff, would play other teams. So my parents would be in the stands, and they'd be talking to the spectators and the other people, and they were like, is Cam sick? Does he...
Is he diseased?
Is he got disease or something? And they're like, no, he's just...
Works really hard.
Yeah. Then started, obviously, weights training and that sort of stuff. That gave me... What's the word? Yeah, from losing all the weight. Momentum. But then lots of people then started to ask me questions about what I'd done, how I did it. And that's what sparked
interest.
All right, well, I'm passionate about this. I actually want to help other people
You've
because
also experienced it.
yeah, well, believe it or not, like even when I was like big, when I did put the weight on and that sort of stuff, like I guess I kind of didn't have a lot of confidence and all that sort of stuff. And I'm not saying, you know, I'm not the world's most super confident person or anything like that, but I do know that my life changed a lot when I did lose the weight and feel better about myself.
Yeah.
And that's what got me to personal training. I wanted to help other people have, you know,
experience what you experienced
that and have that confidence back in their life and stuff.
I think any training, teaching, coaching capacity has to come from learned experiences that you've learned yourselves, whether that's business, whether that's life, whether that's anything. Like you have to have lived it, breathed it, done it, and been a proven case of it, because it's the coaches that fail are the ones that have never done it themselves. Yeah. Like my PT Amy is like fit as fuck. She's a freak. She runs 30 k's multiple times a week.
Yeah, she's fit.
Do you know what? I want some of that. I want a piece of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you want to learn from people who have what you want in whatever capacity. And for a lot of people, it sounds like that was like they saw you transform into this other person. So how did you go from 72 kilos to 85-ish, super sexy, man meat?
That didn't happen overnight, but I guess, you know, once I started then weight training and eating properly again, I probably was like hovering around like 80 kilos then. That was sort of where I was for a while. And then it wasn't until probably I got into CrossFit, and then again, probably more structured with my actual weights training and program. And at the same time, because I was playing rugby at about 80 kilos, I started to be like, well, I need to actually I need to be a bit bigger.
You need to be more of a Brutus.
Yeah, so putting on a little bit of extra weight wasn't too hard. Wasn't a bad thing.
There's also a difference between healthy weight.
I did have that for many years after I lost the weight. I did have an unhealthy relationship with food. Like totally. I know you said you had
completely
eating disorders, that stuff.
Terrible.
But I would always be like,
I used to think I was fat when I weighed 45 kilos. I'm a tall girl.
I had that unhealthy relationship with food in terms of, all right, if I knew I was going out for dinner, I got to go to the gym to kill myself before I can go out to dinner. I got to earn my food. I remember riding my exercise. I love donuts. Mum bought some donuts home, and I can't say no to a donut. Like I can't. But I remember.
And you'll have 4 in one sitting now.
I remember sitting in my room watching a movie, riding my exercise bike, and I'd been like, all right, I've ridden for an hour now. I can now eat my donut, and I'm eating my donut while I'm riding my bike and watching a movie.
I have to burn it, otherwise I can't have it.
Yeah, and that's how it was for ages. I was so worried about going back to being that fat kid again, and it wasn't. And
we have a very unhealthy relationship with pumpkin.
I was still the same, you know, right up until probably I started doing some work with a nutritionist and stuff, and then they were like, your actual problem is you don't eat enough, and
of the right things.
Not so much the right things, but like you don't eat enough food. Like you're only consuming about 1,800 calories, and you need to be eating, you know, 2,800, 300
for 3,000 for how much you work out.
What you're doing, and you know, almost just as your base metabolic rate. Like we need to get that up, and then as soon as I started to eat properly and more food and that sort of stuff in terms of cleaner but more calories, that's when all of a sudden lots of things then change. That's when
sexy piece of man meat.
Like, you know, the little bit of weight that I was sort of carrying, I was able to like, all right,
burn it.
I was able to, my abs would come and go, but now my abs are pretty constant now.
Oh yeah,
around.
I see them in the morning when you come into the bedroom and give me the helicopter after you shower. Sorry, Rob, if you're listening. Sorry, Danny.
So it's I definitely had that unhealthy relationship for a while. It took me a while to you know.
I think that's pretty cool. Look, there's a bit of a bad rap about CrossFit, that it's a bit of a cult, and like to a degree it fucking is. And you know what? Because when I met you, you were in the CrossFit cult. You were balls deep in that CrossFit cult.
I absolutely see how people call it a cult, because like we got our own language. We have our own gods in CrossFit that we all love, like Rich Froning and Tia Toomey. But
Tinder's a
at the
legend.
same time,
She's a
I've
legend.
never been one of those people that talk CrossFit unless somebody asks me about CrossFit. So I'm never one to just go, well, when do I talk CrossFit to people?
When I first met you, you were up in the cult. Now you don't.
What did I do when I first met you?
You were like, you wouldn't eat anything. You had on a completely sugar-free diet, and all we talked about for one of our days was CrossFit. And we used to.
I was on a sugar-free diet, but
I had one of the first iPhones, it was iPhone 2 or something like that, and you had like some sort of shitty Samsung thing, but you actually sent me a photo of you like doing chin to bars, but like you had weights strapped around you. I remember that photo. I showed a lot of people that photo.
yeah, but that wasn't like, come do CrossFit with me. I was like, trying to
recruit.
No, not recruit. I was trying to send you that sexy pic and be like, oh yeah.
I'm always thirsty for you, baby.
Yeah, I don't. I can see.
You're not now.
And I know plenty of people that are the cult people, but I've never tried to like recruit people.
No, I'm just joking with you.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. But I never talk CrossFit, never talk shop unless someone wants to talk to me about it. But I even go to the students now that, like, obviously I teach Cert 3 and 4, and I always bring that up. I'm like, all right, like my gym was a CrossFit gym, like, because that's my passion, that worked for me. But I don't care what you're doing, as long as, I don't care if you do Zumba. I don't, like, as long as what you do
movement
makes you happy and gives you the results or gives you what you want, then it's the right exercise for you. If you're going to do it, if you're doing an exercise or you're doing some sort of thing that you don't enjoy or you're not going to stick with, then that's not right for you.
Well, I think, and Cam works in a teaching and training capacity now, and he's moving into management, which is really cool. But I think that, no matter what you choose, it's got to be something you love.
Yeah.
And I think that you've never been judgmental about that. I think a lot of people judge CrossFit. The thing that I admire about CrossFitters is like, and this is definitely true of you, you're quite well-rounded. I wouldn't say you're better at anything than other things. You're probably pretty well-rounded, but it's like heavy weights, like heavy weights. You lift sandbags that are heavier than you. You lift, 1.5 times your body weight, like right up over your head. But as well as that, it's like gymnastics, so flexibility and like body movement and things like that. And it's cardio, it's very well-rounded sport.
Yeah, and that's what I
it's
enjoy.
A bit of everything.
This is the one thing about me, that I'm very structured in what I do.
Fucking annoying.
But
Drive me nuts.
In the gym, if I'm doing the same thing every day of the week, I get bored to death. So I like that. What I like about CrossFit is the variety it gives me in my training.
And you had, even back at your gym that you owned as well, like you had Commonwealth Games competitors, like lifters and things like that. And you had like well-rounded people. And the other thing that I actually loved about your gym too was everyone thinks CrossFit is going to be these young, hot 20-year-olds, fucking powerlifter types. And like you had like beautiful old couples that used to come in together and do CrossFit together to like help lose weight and like help their mobility and do things like that. And you had like such a broad range of people.
Kind of that thing, like what most people see of
is
CrossFit
the tier 2s.
Is the one percenters.
Yeah.
So they all think that, they're all the freaks of that, but the actual other 95% is just everyday community people that are just
normal humans.
Training, health and fitness, and just want that social interaction while they train.
So good.
Yeah.
Look, off the topic of sport, and I guess the opposing side to you is you're a fucking nerd burger.
Yep. Won't even deny it.
You're like the happiest when you're in front of the PlayStation.
It's like, I don't know. I've always been a bit of a nerdy in terms of like, Marvel comic book stuff. And then, video games and stuff like that.
I'll never forget when we did long distance, we dated for sort of like, for the first 3 months, we'd alternate going back and forward. And then for the next sort of 4 months, I was like, hey, happy to split the flight cost with you. You kind of need to come up here because you're moving up here. Like, get used to being here. And so every time you came up with your suitcase, you'd bring like some stuff so you didn't have to move as much when you moved. And I came home one day and I had this book stack, and all of a sudden there's like a Marvel
encyclopedia. And I just like left it there, and I was like, why the hell long to take her to see?
And then there was like a couple of like little nerdy figurines. Is that what you call it? And like you'd like hung some things, and I was just like came home one day and I'm like,
This is my space. What's going on?
Why is the nerd show? But equally loved it and thought it was so fucking funny. And it was just so subtle. And I remember, because like Cam does all the cooking in our household. I love eating, but in case you can't tell, but I'm definitely not a cook. But I remember literally, I think I'd been somewhere in her camera and you were like in the kitchen and you were like looking at me like, is she going to notice? It was so funny. Anyways, you are a nerd burger and you're happiest there, and you now have your big bougie black boy cave, man cave, PlayStation room with all your cool nerdy things.
Yeah. Well, I reckon every sort of like house I've had my little like man cave or PlayStation area. So definitely like when, you know, we were in the apartment, I felt bad because you used to get shafted to the bedroom. So you'd just go in and watch TV in the bedroom, and I'd play some PlayStation out in the lounge room. And then when we moved here, it was the same thing. We didn't have the upstairs yet, so I was playing down here, and I feel bad. I was kicking you to the bedroom again, and then you made me my nice little man cave with the couch. You painted my cabinet all cool and graffiti for me.
I think that it's like,
and it's the best little room.
I don't like. There's this funny, I guess there's this stigma, and don't get me wrong, like you're not one of these people, but there's this thing about gamers and them being extremely antisocial, and a lot of them are, and they become quite aggressive, and it's like that's their life revolves around, and that's fine, but like, I actually don't care. And like sometimes these stay the fuck away from me and go do something else. No, but you also, you contrast that with training in the morning, training at lunchtime, cooking. You spend time with the dogs. You spend time with me. That's your zone
For
now.
me, it's my downtime, but at the same time,
mine's a bath with a crime doco and a wine as big as my head.
When I did have the gym, a little bit different from me now. But when I had the gym, I was on my feet all day long. I was like training myself. I was then on my feet taking classes and that sort of stuff. So, you know, I got to the weekend. I wanted to chill and relax. I wasn't one of those people that's like,
no, I need to go be social.
Exercising. I didn't want to go for that hike. I didn't want to do that. I was like, I want to actually just let my body recharge.
Also, when you, especially in the last few months of having your gym, when it was like you woke in the mornings and you have like a 3-hour break in the middle of the day, you were training in there too. So it's like, you know, may as well smash it out then. But no, I think it's a beautiful wind down view. And
I'm not one of those. All right, yes, I'm a gamer, but I'm not one of the ones that plays online with the headset talking to other people and all of it.
Oh,
and nothing wrong with those people. I'm just, I just play by myself.
Yeah. I think, you know, my wind down.
And then you saw, sorry to interrupt you there.
Rude.
You saw how upset I was when we got to the airport.
We've just got back from overseas, guys. And there was an event at the airport. At the TISM, there was a meltdown.
The TISM was real. So we got to the airport and we parked the car, we've got the luggage.
And the airport's like an hour and a half from us, right?
We're going up the escalator and I've just gone, fuck. And she's
I thought he fell over.
She's like, what's wrong? She's like, have you got your passport? Have you got your passport? I'm like, I fucking left my Game Boy Switch at home. I've got nothing to play on the plane. And
he was salty for about half an hour and he did not talk to me.
I was sitting around and she's trying to be like, all right, can we do this? Can we do that? Like, can we call Crowther? Can he come bring it up? And I'm like, babe, just don't. Just give me,
you know,
literally just give me 10 minutes.
Recalibrating his calendar. He just had to do that. He just had to sit there and be like,
give me 10 minutes and I'll get over it. And then I was like, because I don't love flying either.
No.
Like, I'm just not comfortable flying. So for me, that was going to kill time where it occupies my brain as opposed to just watching a movie where the plane starts shaking, I don't notice it as much and stuff like that. So for me, that was how I was going to deal with the 8-hour plane flight to Singapore. I didn't have that anymore. And I was not good for about 15, 20 minutes, eh?
You didn't fucking talk to me, you salty bastard.
Yeah, and then I put my big boy pants on and I got over it.
Yeah, then you just, cleaned your vagina out and carried on.
It was like, you were flying me in business, so it wasn't too bad.
Yeah, I know. Oh, you poor thing, how horrible for you.
Yeah.
No, it's, I think it's healthy. Like, me, I think that's another thing that I love about our relationship is that we're good at reading each other. Like, I can tell when you are not okay and you can tell when I'm not okay, and then you're like, you need a bath and I'll bring you a wine and I'll bring the puppies and the puppies will come sit in the bathroom or...
I know when you're okay, it's like wine, chocolate, cuddle with Coco or like a bath.
Yeah.
So those 4 things were like, you know, or sometimes even it's like a packet of chips.
Or sex.
Yeah.
Yeah. Depends on what type of upset.
Yeah.
Same for you. It's like you either need to like just, I don't know, there's so many things that you need. Sometimes it's like you need to train. I know if you don't train, then you just get really like just almost feisty and angry. You also need a bit of PlayStation downtime. Sometimes you just like, something else that bothers him is he needs to get everything done in one big blob, so then he can like shower before and shower after. And like you can't do something in the morning and then something in the afternoon. You have to do it all together.
I just kind of like to get, I guess again from being like raised the way I was raised and things like that. It's like we had to have all our chores done before you could do anything.
Yeah, it was before it was fun.
It's kind of like the same thing as like, I don't know, you're like, you don't care if I play PlayStation. You like just do what you want.
He asks me permission. I'm like, go.
I'll get all my little chores done. I'll go walk the dogs. I'll do the lawns. I'll do whatever. And then the washing and all that stuff. And then I'll come and be like, is it all right if I play some PlayStation, babe? Is there anything else you need me to do? And most of the time you're still in bed watching TV and you're like, babe, you do what you want.
Yeah, because you're a psychopathic morning person who's fresh as a fucking daisy at 5 a.m. And I'm someone who's like, I need a slow pace morning. I need to have cuddle in bed with the dogs. I need a slow shower and then I need to start my morning slow. I start clients about 4 hours after I wake up. Alarm goes off, get dressed, have a shower, go to the gym, come home, walk the dogs, then I have breakfast. And then if it's not in the right order, then I'm stressed.
I always laugh like, you know, to me, a morning person is someone that, you know, gets up and gets things done. And I always love it like when you tell people, oh, you're a morning person, I'm up at 6 a.m. and this, I'm like, when are you up at 6 a.m? I'm like, you might be awake, but I come home from the gym at like 7:15 and you're still in bed. I'll go walk the dogs and come back and you're most of the time still in bed.
Excuse me, but first of all, morning people wake up early. They don't have to get up early. I'm up with the sun 5:30, 6 o'clock. Not at the moment because I'm jet lagged, but I'm up 5:30, 6 o'clock. And then I like the dogs coming to bed. And then I like lying in bed, maybe putting on some sort of documentary. And I like checking my fucking emails and communicating with my staff. Fuck you.
Yeah. So we have different opinions of morning people.
But then it's also funny because you're also a night person. I'm also a bit of 9 o'clock.
And then as a morning person too, it's like, don't talk to you until you've had your Red Bull either.
No, absolutely not. Fucking hell. See how he picks on me? Jesus Christ. Look, the other thing, I guess to finish this off because I like picking on people's quirks and I think it's actually quite funny is that you're a bit of a fashion icon, a fashion killer. You wanted me to make mention of that. So when I met Cam, Kanye Wested his wardrobe. And if you don't know what that means, when Kim and Kanye started dating, he threw out her whole wardrobe and replaced it with new, actually nice stuff.
To my defense, however, we had just been through COVID and I'd been in lockdown for the best part of 2 years. I had no reason to have fancy new clothes.
Excuse me.
And then
there was about a 15-year-old belt and fucking dirty old early 2000s
there was the
Oakleys.
Hollywood belt, which had sentimental value to me. My sister had bought me a belt. And
this
it had
belt was
Hollywood written on it.
It was hideous. It was studded and it was pleather. It was painted.
And it was the cool. Everyone loved the belt. And Caitlin didn't love the belt.
Not one person liked the belt.
Yeah.
You also have these dirty old fucking square Oakleys that people used to wear to the fucking Geelong Cup in 2001 for rugby.
I don't even remember the Oakleys, but I do remember you slowly started to buy me new clothes, and then
you had a fucking SMP trench coat from or a Billabong trench coat.
Yeah, I don't know.
There was an old square shape that I had when I was in grade 5.
Yeah.
Horrendous. I had COVID for 2 years. That excuses me having 20-year-old disgusting clothes.
Yeah, and then she introduced me to Subi. That if you're listening, you're probably not, but you can sponsor me because pretty much every item in my wardrobe is either Subi, Billy Bones, or
also make you cut off your hideous long hair.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you grew your beard out. You look so much hotter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've created a bit of a monster with me.
Now he's cooler than me and I fucking hate it.
Now it's like, you guys saw, some of you would have seen when we were in overseas and I pulled out a t-shirt of hers and put it on and she's like, that's my t-shirt. But yet every time I go to find one of my t-shirts, it's like in the wash or
We're
like,
married, so it's our t-shirts.
yeah, that's right. That's right. She buys things now, it's for us.
No, I don't even know how to finish this because I feel like I could sit here and talk to you forever. And I just love you very much.
Yeah, I love you too.
Yeah, you piss me off.
Not today.
Not today. Today might be a lucky day.
It's only early. No, it's getting late, so I could see through the day without pissing you off.
Anyway, I hope you've all enjoyed getting to know a bit more of my incredible husband, who is my favourite person on the planet, which I said about 900 times because he is. I don't understand what people say about one of my beautiful friends, Megan, who's a lesbian, said, do all straight people just fucking hate each other? Do all straight couples just hate each other? Because you know how it's like after straight people get married, they're just like, all just like talk about hating on each other. And I'm like, I do not get that because I actually love you more. I love you more and more and more.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean. Like, I don't hate you.
We get better every day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I only hate you when you snore.
And then, yeah, I'll have a sore back, so I can't lay on the side. So I'll lay on my back. And then
you fucking snore.
I don't snore, like heavy breathe.
No, you go.
And then she'll be like, she'll shove my head and be like, shut up, roll over. And it's, yeah.
He's just an irritating human all round. You're my irritating human.
But I'm yours and you're stuck with me and there's nothing you can do about it.
Not at all. Thank you so much. I love you.
Mwah.